A very good day and welcome to Asake Online. My name is Sizwakele Ndlovu and you are watching The Breakfast Club. Today we're talking about an issue that is affecting most of us. I think it affects us every day basically, and this is mental health. And with me in the studio I have Sipho Mazibuko to talk about her journey, to share her experiences and to shed more light on this issue of mental health. Sipho, thank you so much for being a part of the Breakfast Club show.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for welcoming me.
Sipho, it's not every day we get somebody wanting to share such a story, and I have so many questions as well. And
okay.
Well, but mental health is seen to be such a private thing. Be strong, deal with whatever you do.
Be a man if you're a man.
Be a man, be a woman. Yeah. So for you to come out, thank you so much for coming out to share your story.
It's my pleasure.
Sipho, my first question would be, your journey, the mental health journey, the beginnings. You're living your life, and then at some point, something was not quite right anymore. How did that start? What were your symptoms? How did you know that something was no longer quite okay?
For me, I didn't even know something was wrong. So I was so happy. It was like I was on cloud 9. Talking to people, being hyperactive. And then my family noticed with there's something wrong. But then they didn't know it was depression. They didn't even know what it was. And then because I down. I didn't know it was bipolar. I was later diagnosed as having a bipolar. I was withdrawn. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to be with my kids. I didn't even want to cook for my kids. I wanted just to be by myself. And there were so many voices. You're up here. They talk to you. Kill yourself. Kill your children. What if I was to die? What will happen to my children? So what can I do? Let me poison all of them. Then I die with them. There's so much song. There's so many voices that talk to you. And then that's when my family realized, definitely there is something that's happening. I could have killed my kids. I took an overdose of tablets and I woke up at Central Hospital in intensive care. It was that bad. I was wishing, why am I still alive? Why didn't I die? Because it was still there. And then that's when the doctors talked to my family and said, this child is depressed. This is bipolar. Do something before she tries it again. Because I wanted to kill myself. I wanted to make sure that I'm gone. You wish the ground could open up and swallow you. That's how it was like. So when they took me to Ingutsheni, it's a process for you to be admitted at Ingutsheni. Not just, you can't just walk in there and your family can just take you there. It's a process. It involves the police. It involves the central hospital. And they take you sometimes in handcuffs. And in my case, it was in handcuffs because I became violent. I was in denial. I didn't want to be taken to Ingutsheni. Why me? Why me? Why Sipho Mazibuko? Why Nazo? Why me? I'm a celebrity. Why me? So I refused. By my police, I was handcuffed. I carried my baby. And I went with her. Not saying central, but no, you can't take her with you to hospital. Then they tranquilized me. I was out. The next minute, I was in isolation. And then they teach you. They tell you, staff at Ingutsheni, they are so welcoming. They are trained to look after you as a mental patient. They told me, Sipho, you are now at Ingutsheni. You have to get up. You've got children. You've got to heal. You have to make sure you get out within a few months or even a few weeks, because others stay there for years. They never get out. Never. They're just imprisoned by those voices forever. There was a lady that I was with who'd been there for 25 years. And now I heard she died in there. Because I keep on going to check on what's happening at the ward where I was in, what's needed, What do they need? What can I do in my own small way? So that was my journey, in short.
Sipho, can I just take you back to, you were saying you were hyper, and then you had your depression. So it was a cycle of happiness, sadness, happiness.
That's bipolar.
Yeah. So each time frame of you being happy, was it hours? Did you switch in minutes? Did it take
days? It was days. Yeah. I'll say days, definitely.
Okay. So you'd have a period of certain number of days where you're high, and then you crash.
Then you crash.
Then you get high again.
Yes.
So it was always like this.
It's a seesaw. It's a seesaw of feelings.
Okay. So, ususengutsheni laphana, being told to get up, go, you've been put on medication, I assume. How long did you spend in there?
1 month. 1 month and 2 weeks.
1 month and 2 weeks. So, wawuvuka kwakusenzakala?
Ngale ziyakhupha. Abanye they are happy, abanye they are so sad. Engutsheni, honestly, is the right place for somebody with a mental disorder to be, because liba women, each one has got a different story. Hey, ndoda yami yayinchaya. Hey, ndoda yami yayinchita. Hey, emsebenzini kade what. Hey, you know, everybody's got a story. Yes, it's so fun in there. Sasichazeka. Singakwazi ukuthi siyagula, uyabona sokuphama amaphilisi, abanye kabanatha amaphilisi bajikela ngaphansi kombheda babanjwe, baforcwe ukuthi banathe. Sincedisane wena nahle amaphilisi, wena nathile, you know, things like that. So, yeah, it's the right place to be. Even the staff, they entertain you. Kapani wathi mfuna ukugida, sobagidela. Laba baqakezela, bakasuyagula nje. Sithi hayi Sipho hlala phansi. Hlala phansi ungakhohlwa ukuthi ungonazola abantwana, ungayenzi so. Hlala phansi inkazana. You know, that's how it's like in there. It's a very happy place.
It was a supportive community.
Oh, kakhulu.
You're out of hospital. That says a lot, Bill.
The day my father came to take me out. My mom was in UK. She stays in UK. So my father came to pick me up from the hospital. I was so happy to see him. He came with my elder kids. I was so happy. I was so happy. You know, I even seen the house in like weeks. Ungene lapho can't look of fanana. And she got so then she said, really? Did I do that? Did I do that? Things like that. So yeah, I was happy to be back home, able to clean myself. I spend 3 days. So it was that bad. So I said, "Pendulous process lapping gaze and touches goes. I mean, makeup, you know, like that Sipho, that celebrity that everybody knows. Yeah, and then in the end, everything fell back into place."
Okay. Stigma. There's so society does not like people who fall out of certain spaces. Like even now, isikhuluma COVID-19. People are afraid to tell their stories. COVID because there's stigma for things
there's
like
so much stigma. COVID so avoidwa.
Yeah.
Just like what used to happen with HIV.
Yes.
There was so much stigma.
Yes.
Imagine with mental illness, the stigma is so pathetic, it's bad. For me to come out and say, Gaya, hey, Gaya, I'm not feeling well. I think I've got depression. It's not easy. People are in denial, in serious denial. They choose to sweep it under the carpet, close it into the closet, and never talk about it until it's too late. So it's wise for the family to know the symptoms, to know these are the symptoms to watch out for. So people need to be educated, because in Zimbabwe there is no education about mental health, absolutely zero.
Okay. So when I had mentioned Uti, it was the excessive highness, then the crashing. You wouldn't even want to put me in.
I didn't want to get up. So they were just taking me away from my voices, because I was enjoying the voices. Because what method should I use? You weigh all of them. I went as far as Googling how to kill myself. It was that bad. I knew tablets. I said, you get so much information, you don't even know. So it's terrible and it's bad information. Then you choose from there how to take yourself out.
Okay, so coming back to, there's so many questions and they're just interleading like this. Uti, you've mentioned, Uti, you're at the point where you've been taken to hospital and that process, and you're out. You go through Engujeni, and now you're out and you're picking up your pieces one by one. Knowing what you know now, and what had you now at that point in time, you knew there was something you're not handling stress properly. What would you have done differently, and how would you advise anybody who feels they might have issues? But in your case, what would you have done differently from the time you said, I think I have a problem?
I think I should have spoken to my mom. She was the closest person that I have. She still is the closest person that I have. I should have spoken to her and opened up and told her what I was going through, but I didn't. I didn't want her to feel worried about me. She was all the way in UK, and here is me saying, Mom, I want to kill myself. She was so far. I didn't know what to say. And then they were my children. What can you say to your own child? Hey, so I think I want to kill myself. The child won't understand what you're talking about. So in my case, I think I should have maybe found a psychologist, because I had no idea what there are people like psychologists that you can talk to in confidence, and it's private and it's confidential. I didn't know. I think I would have done that. So I advise somebody in my situation to run away from the denial, to really close up the denial and open up and say, hey, I've got this symptom. Let me go to the psychologist. Let me go to the psychiatrist. Let me talk to my auntie. Let me talk to my sister. Let me talk to my teacher. Let me talk to my pastor. People that can give you an ear, and a positive ear, not an ear that is going to judge you and make you feel worse.
So find somebody trusted to talk to.
Yes, somebody who's going to keep it with them and make it confidential.
Okay. And we're talking psychologists, isn't it? This is key, and all that. Isn't it's so difficult. You've been raised to say, don't hang your dirty laundry in public, and be strong. What kind of woman are you if you're not coping? How far have we come in trying to break down those barriers, in your opinion?
In my opinion, we've done nothing. Zero. Kapush, nothing. Because in my case, I was taken to prophets. One prophet after the other. Prophet Africa kamba manga. You end up not talking to everyone, because the prophets will be telling you story after the story. And then after that, witch doctors, traditional healers. Labo lama theories. Uthathu yefakwe emfuleni, uthathu imvu kumbe imbuzi, uyibulawe phezu kwakho. Uthakona they are taking ama demons, you are possessed with ama demon. It was that bad. I went through all that. So Zimbabwe needs to wake up, have a wake-up call, and do something about mental health disorders. Educate the communities, educate people at schools, at the workplace. Because there could be somebody gossiping about you. You get there, you're wearing your cheap clothes, or you're wearing your expensive clothes. Look at her. Ooh, look at her. And then it eats into you. Esikolo, you get bullied. Abantwana ubele inform edabukileyo awula lunch tin awuthwala lunch tin yakho vela ula totally. Gqokijese edabukileyo awula ma textbooks, the other kids bully you, and then you get traumatized. Then you hear ukuthi a 12-year-old hanged herself or hanged himself. That's trauma which needs to be dealt with. That's trauma which needs for people to be educated about. Zimbabwe needs to wake up and do something.
So Sipho, it's mental health you're saying you've got a condition, your mental health is bipolar. So what was prescribed to you to help you manage this? Do you get medication? Are you told to exercise?
Yeah,
okay.
I was given medication, and I was told to get out and about. you know, be active, cook for the kids, clean your room. Keep young into you know, like I've got a swimming pool in my house. I love swimming. You know, walk. So I was told to really have activities, watch TV. If you've got your favorite soapies or favorite TV program, maybe cooking shows, gardening shows. For me, it was cooking shows and gardening shows and fashion programs like fashion TV channel. Yeah. So that's what I was encouraged to keep myself busy with and avoid being by myself, being on my own, because that is when again those voices come talking to you. It's true that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. That is true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of medication, once you start medication,
you cannot stop.
Okay, it's for life.
It's for life. It's chronic. It's just like diabetes, heart disease, BP. Once you start, you can't stop. If you stop, you crash. You got back to that same zero place that you were. So who would want to go back there? Because my children need me. My business needs me. My family needs me. I need myself. So medication should come first.
So you're basically managing a chemical imbalance. Like Uti, if your blood pressure is uncontrollable, your sugar, your insulin is uncontrollable, it's one of those conditions where you just take the medication and you keep monitoring it.
Yes. Once you see it, I'm now too hyper, the doctor will have given you, don't have to rush to the psychiatrist all the time. So hyper, you take something to calm you down. Anxiety, because anxiety is that thing that you feel. You know, they give you something for anxiety. If you are so low again, they give you something. They're called mood stabilizers. I'm taking mood stabilizers. I'm taking antidepressants that keep me balanced, because bipolar is a seesaw. You are either in the North Pole or you are in the South Pole. So you have to be balanced.
Okay.
Right there, north, east, and west, balanced.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but can I take you back to where you were talking about, Uti? You started the periods of highs and lows. In total, how long was that period? For example, I'm having a bad week, and then I have a good week. It's payday next week. Then I'll be happy. I'm hyper.
Yeah.
And then after payday, obviously, I
got down
because
again.
The cares of Zimbabwe are getting me down as balancing. Over what time frame? I know this is not a doctor's perspective, but how long was that period? You go to high low until you realize.
I would say about 2 months.
About 2 months.
I would say about 2 months, yes.
Okay. Was it high low?
Yeah, high low, and then the end it was high, very high. Ungafika endlini uficevela ngizijayivela yazi ngifaka ingoma zami engizithandayo ngizijayivela abantwana bazibabuza kanti mama what's going on ngithi come and join me skidance onke yabo I was happy.
I've always known you as a happy person. This is the thing.
The happiness was more. It was too much. Yeah.
Okay. So would you say this is a condition you've had for all your life, or
no?
Okay.
It's something that came along because of circumstances beyond my control. Like I went through a divorce. There was so much bad publicity about Miss Rural. Some publicity which wasn't even necessary because people were trying to fight and take Miss Rural away from me. You know, because it was so popular. Remember, I'm sure you remember how popular it was. So there were some people, some politicians who wanted to take it away from me, get rid of that Ndebele girl, and let's take over and use this pageant as our own.
So you're stressing. When you get
it was one thing after the other. It was so excessive, Gaia, so excessive. You know, I crashed, totally crashed. Angazi how I can put it, how I can put it into words, but it was a complete shutdown, a complete breakdown, and Inguchani took me out of that.
Okay. You're doing something positive with this experience, and tell us more about your initiative.
I formed a trust called Mental Voices. It's a voice for the voiceless, for those that can't talk, those that are in denial, those that are being stigmatized. I'm going to go out into the community to teach people about the symptoms of mental disorders, because there's so many of them. It's not that just bipolar, there's schizophrenia, there's I can't even mention dementia, bulimia, anorexia. There's so much, honestly, that goes into mental illness. It's not that now the mental health finally that is not true, because it's a condition like any other, and it can be maintained, and something can be done. Just like HIV, you take your antiretrovirals and you're okay, nothing happens to you. So I'm going to go out there with my team. I can't do this by myself. I need a team to work with me. So I have Miss Summer Strides to be a vehicle, because Miss Summer Strides does what? It gets lots of attention. The media are on it, the radio stations are on it, the people. So because of that, I just put mental health in there. We come in. Like last year for Miss Summer Strides, the theme was creating mental health awareness. And we did create it, because that show was shown live on ZTV. How many millions of Zimbabweans were watching? Many. And I got so much feedback, so much. On the ZBC News online platform, people were asking, can we get in touch with this woman? And then most of them came into my Facebook. So you won't believe how full my inbox was from women. Hey, I've been abused. Hey, I've been done that. Hey, what in? How can I deal with it? It was so much. Then I realized, no, there needs to be something done. So I formed that Mental Voices Trust. And then also is the other thing that we're going to do is to talk to people about denial. Because uyabukwazi ukuthi akade angizizwa. But uthi yakhula madoda. Mina, I'm a macho man. I can't go through a mental illness. Why? The men are taught to be strong, to be macho, to be masculine. So men, honestly, they are silent sufferers. So we're going to teach abantu ukuthi khona lingabi le denial. Accept, seek treatment, get somebody to listen to you. Seek help, basically seek help before it's too late, before you do like what I did, trying to kill myself. Maybe it was luck for me ukuthi khona nga survive. I could have been 6 feet down right now. Mama. You know, that's the most painful thing that can ever happen to any child. Uthi mama kaseko, mama uzibulele. Wes umntwana uzabe sehlekwa futhi. Hey mama kho wazibulala. Hey wathini. You see, it doesn't only affect you. It's a whole line of people that get affected. Like myself, I've got businesses. Ngabe ngafa, those businesses was going to be shut. I've got more than 20 hairdressers in my hair salon. I've got people living off my shop. You see, it's a trail. It's a trail. So with Mental Voices, I'm trying to fill in that small gap in my own small way. I can't say I'm big. I wish I was the government myself. I would do so much for the country. But in my own small way, I'm going to do something. I've approached Umguza Rural District Council to apply for land for me to build a safe house for mental health patients. There are some people that get discharged and they got nowhere to go. Because the family yakhe bathi laphana banike wrong address, banike wrong phone numbers. Umuntu athi ese right, they've got nowhere to go. Sebeshona khona phana esibhedlela azaye kufa umuntu wenkosi. Eseshona ebhoda esenza like amadoda basiwe yibo gardener laphana bencedisa ukupheka besenzana, because ema families abo abadampa. So that's where Mental Voices will come in. We are going to build a safe house in the plot that Umguza is going to give us. The promise which was a nigga Ndlovu. So we will build a safe house. Which bangaphuma esibhedlela babe le ndawo yokuhlala, a good home. Abazabukela TV aphuma engadini, alungisa inwele zakhe, ayenzeni, you know, amadoda bayenza babaze, bayenza gardening. Labo umuntu abengani appreciated in life. And then those ababe sebefuna khona babile ema families abo, they will be free to go back because babe sebe rehabilitated. They are now members of society. They can be integrated back into society. So that's what Mental Voices is going to be all about, or rather is all about, because I'm all out zwa. And I've got a business, I've got a manager. Endlini le venue, I've got Christabel running the venue. I've got a restaurant, I've got my son running the restaurant. So I've got all the time in my hands to put my energy onto mental voices. So that we do what? We take away those crazy voices from people and give them a better voice that can talk for positivity, talk for healing, talk for life, not talk for death, not talk of suicide. So that's what mental voices is all about.
Wow. Sipho, it's wow. It's it's a wow. You know, I find it amazing that you are standing here, sitting here rather, and sharing your story. It's not an easy story to share. And yes, obviously, yes, newspaper and we all knew, but you are here claiming your story, claiming your journey.
Because the papers didn't say what was to be said.
Yes.
They even diagnosed and said I've got schizophrenia. That's the worst type of mental disorder. Schizophrenia. You know, that was touching.
Yeah.
I could have sued the newspapers.
Okay.
But what was I going to benefit?
Yeah.
Everybody knew me as a schizophrenic person. So what's the point? Christian, schizophrenia, bipolar. What's the point?
Yes,
why you waste your energy? If somebody thinks they can't mix with you, it's their own fish to fry. It's not my fish to fry. Because I'm saying accept it. And I've said it out to the whole world. There's no one for even all the papers to write about anymore. Yeah, bipolar, so what? So what? Just because they're bipolar. There's nothing to write about anymore about Sipho Mazibuko having a mental disorder. Nothing. Zilch. Yeah.
Sipho, thank you so much. It's very informative. Konoguti was saying we have to take ownership of our mental health. We have to look out for the ones we love. And we have to be aware that it's a tightrope, it's a balance.
It's a balance, chemical balance.
Yes. And the sooner you find a solution, you seek help,
the better.
The better it is.
It reduces the amount of time with medication. Sometimes they just take medication for a while and it's over, no more medication.
Yes.
But for me, since I had a complete crash, they have to prevent another crash. So I have to be on medication until I die. But for others, it's for a short space of time.
So the sooner you
do it, the better. If I had done it earlier, but I didn't.
Okay. So Sipho, we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
With this venture, Mental Voices. And thank you so much for being a voice for the voiceless, for speaking out on this invisible condition.
Because no one can tell.
Yes.
Who can tell? No one. But I've got it.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be in big letters to lie.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's appreciate people with mental disorders.
And mental health is real, and it is no discriminator of persons. It can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
It can happen to children. Children have mental health issues.
Yes.
From children to adults. It can
it's okay not to be okay.
Single person.
Yeah, it's okay not to be okay.
It's okay not to be okay. Nazo, thank you so much for being a part of this.
It's my pleasure. I hope it helped somebody out there. Even if I hope my being here touched somebody and it will make them sit up and do something about their mental health.
Yes, I'm sure it did. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
That's all we have on the Breakfast Club today. We were just chatting about mental health. And Sipho mentioned a very important point. It's okay not to be okay. And if you find that you are not coping, she recommends talking to someone, a trusted friend, a trusted colleague, psychologist, a counselor, somebody to just help relieve the stress. And if that is not helping, then take the next step. Talk to a doctor and see what the next step would be for you. My name is Sizwakele Ndlovu, and thank you for watching Asake Online. And please remember to stay masked up. Please wear your mask correctly. Yes, yes, numbers are going down. But please remember to stay masked up, sanitize your hands, wash your hands frequently, and avoid large crowds, and let us practice social distancing. Thank you so much for watching Asake Online, and we'll catch you in other programs.